So, welcome to this Python application programming online session for module 5. Today, we are going to discuss module 5 regarding network programs and uh, web browsing and SQL database and the different aspects of Python programming related to different data types. Okay. So most of the examples which we had dealt so far from the past 30 classes have been focused reading files. Okay, just wanted to read a CSV file or a text file or an Excel file, okay, or an image file. So it was a file which was preserved on your PC or on a local memory, and you were reading the particular text string or a data from a file. But there are different types of sources of information which are available when we try to speak about internet. Okay, so how many of you are aware about the protocols or the HTTP in internet, HTML in internet, XML in internet, JSON in internet, JavaScript oriented notation? So there are different types of data which are available on the internet, and if you want to fetch the information or the data from the internet source, so at that particular time it would be a different scenario how you're going to do programming in Python. And of course Python will make most of the things easy for you just by importing different libraries, different packages, and yeah, of course you can try to deal with more and more complex situations, extracting the information from the internet source. Let me just before I take up this issue in detail, let us try to be little practical, like where you guys will be using the concepts of network programs and web browsing and SQL data as well. So let me just share some of the websites. Okay. Okay, let me just initially share the college website, our own college website. Yeah, one second, it's taking time. Now let me share the full screen. Okay, first I'll just try to share the entire screen so that it will be easy for me to navigate in different screen. Guys, just let me know what is visible on your screen. What is visible?
Nothing, sir.
Hi.
Now it's coming. Yeah, your team screen.
Okay, so the Teams is visible. Okay, good. So now, how about now the college website? Our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi with vaccines for all, free for all advertisement.
Sir, visible.
Huh?
Visible, sir.
Okay, good. So can you see these tabs? Home, about, programs, research, placement, and if you could see the programs, we have undergrad programs, postgrad programs, and research PhD programs in different areas. So if you look at this complete web page, okay, of course it is designed by your college, but it will be having its own structure and HTML language, that is hypertext markup language, right? So how are you going to design this web page using HTML? Or if I want to go through the content of this web page, so though it looks like a front end design, it appears to be as a front end. You could see there are many aspects inside this web page. There is an image and which has been switched, from time to time. Okay, and there are a lot of images which has been collaged. There are text data, there is an image data, and there are some other things which the SJBIT website is evolving. Okay, here we have a video, campus tour, and some message or information, and there are a lot of things. Now, if you look at the source content, if I right click on this page, and uh, if I say view page source, okay, if I say view page source, now you could see this page, right? This is the HTML page, and there's a lot of data here. And if you could very carefully observe, if you could carefully observe, yeah, here it is. Can you observe this information? Can you see this information? Is it programs? I will just try to maximize your screen and just see, is it a program? So it has been created with a tag. Okay, there is a tag. So there's some syntax. See here, ID, menu, item 7286, class, menu, and item, custom, item, object. So this is a format. And then finally it is a programs. Can you see this program now? So can I say this program is an alias to the programs what you see here on your website? Correct? I need some response, guys, here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this programs is written here in HTML format in this way, right? So I have an A tag attached to it. So, and again under program you had undergraduate program, and again undergraduate program you had computer civil engineering department, computer science department, electrical department, and electronics and communication. Very similar to this. See here, I have all those programs. Okay, just let me push this screen a little bit towards the right. Okay, can you see this? Can you just try to correlate your HTML source page with your front end web page source? Okay, so this is how they create the web pages, and this is a front end. Of course, you can copy this entire script and you can have your own HTML page, and you can host it on some of the websites or some of the server. So that is also possible. So this is how we take the templates from different web sources, and you just try to edit few things and post it and publish it, and you will get a different. Of course, I cannot do this because I should have a keyword and I should have the access to publish whatever changes I do in this source content. Okay, so I'm just trying to correlate the things where what is an HTML data, and in future I'm going to read this data. Okay, just for the sake of curiosity, just let me know how are you going to read this string. Can if I click this, okay, if I click on this electronics and communication, will I get another window? You could see here I would get another window which will direct me to electronics and communication engineering web page. Okay, it's taking some time. It will open. It has to open. And okay, can you see this? Bachelor of Engineering and program name, program outcomes. Is it
Yes.
visible, guys? Okay, fine. And of course, I can navigate to the same web page from here also. I can navigate to the web page from this particular web page also. So what is the difference here? So this, since this was the source content, okay, both are same. I just navigate to the same page. It's the content is still under development, so just don't worry, sir. My HOD's name is missing, faculty names are missing, of course, because still this is a development process. So don't worry. So all will appear all of a sudden. So still there are so many things, information has been missing. So now what I meant was to, okay, yeah, concentrate here. So can I call this as an hyperlink? Understand, guys? Can I call this as an hyperlink? Which if I click on this, it navigates to another page. You call it as an hyperlink. Can I call these as hyperlinks?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so hyperlinks, just understand what is the syntax. Hyperlinks are always, okay, always the preamble of hyperlink is always attached to a string called href is equal to. So this is a syntax. So if I want to find an hyperlink inside this source file, so this is a source file. If I want to find an hyperlinks, so can I just try to find href in each line? Wherever I have an href equal to the line which starts with, or the string which starts with href. Okay, the string which starts with href will be an obvious response for your hyperlinks, correct? And definitely this will be in a tag. See here, so this is a tag here, correct? So how many hyperlinks are there in your SJBIT website? So if I ask you people to count how many hyperlinks are there on this home page, can you just give me a count today by the end of the day? Guys, I'm asking you a simple question. So if I click this, again, this is an hyperlink, this is an hyperlink, this is an hyperlink. There are so many hyperlinks. See here, whichever drop downs, whichever letters that comes. Again, if you go inside, again, you have another hyperlink. See, there are so many hyperlinks. If I click on this image, there is an hyperlink. If I click on this, that is why it is called as multimedia links. See here, if I click on this image, it will be a video. Here it will be a video. Okay, so there are so many hyperlinks. At the end of the day, if I ask you like how many hyperlinks are there, obviously what will you do? You will look for the syntax where um, what is the example, like you look for the syntax which will read HTML source codes, and after reading HTML source codes, you will try to find the href string inside that HTML source code. And after equal to, you know how to extract the strings, right? You know how to extract your desired string. If you have href is equal to attached to the string, okay, remove that part and only that string part will be extracted, and if that satisfies your constraint, you will increment the count by 1. Okay, so href equal to how many hrefs are there, so many hyperlinks will be present in your source web source. Okay, so this is one way of reading HTML content on your page source, by understanding the language or the syntaxes of the HTML and try to build some program. So before you try to build some program, you know, you need to understand something about called as socket programming. You that will be taken care in the next coming class, not to worry. So before you try to get any data, see this, these images have been, the contents of this web page has been displayed on my PC or on my desktop. That means I have been connected with the server with this particular sjbit.edu.in link through the socket. Socket is just like a connection between the user. It's an interface between an user and a server. Okay, server will have a socket and it will have its own memory address. Okay, and it will have its own hexadecimal some complex addresses, so that you need to connect to that. So that is a very basic core level of programming. You design a socket and you connect that socket to a server by giving an URL or a link, and then you go to that particular memory location and try to fetch the data from that memory location. So this is a very basic level of programming. Okay, so we shall see that basic level programming and we shall try to evolve. Okay, we will try to evolve using some good different packages. Okay, uh, 1 second. Let me just try to where is that module 5, and I had prepared a beautiful PPT, you know, but I forgot to display it. So is it PPT visible, Priyanka?
It's
I have
loading.
only one good respondent here in this group. So others kindly respond if you feel like responding, because I can't force you guys. Yeah, it's still getting open. Okay, yeah. Is it full screen?
No, sir. Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So I was talking about these things. See here, network programs. I'll start with the socket programming, and I shall just try to uh, explain HTML and how are you going to parse or scrape through web pages and using regular expressions here to go inside the HTML and find the required what you say like a content and just try to fetch it. And you can also use some advanced packages like beautiful soup and url lib, and the different packages are there, and you can start using those just in order to minimize the effort of programming with respect to the network components. And also I'll use web services. This is very interesting. This web services will use XML and JSON. Okay, XML and JSON are two different types of syntaxes which deals with the networking or internet, what do you say, data types. Right? This is just like an Excel. Just imagine like it's just like an CSV file or something like that. So most of the data will be in terms of XML. Most of the internet data will be either represented in XML, that is extensible markup language, or in terms of JSON. So we shall see the application program interfaces, APIs. So what is API? I'll take you to the another example. Can you just tell me what is that visible on your screen?
Sir, some lastminute.com.
Okay, good. So it's one of the most popular European travel booking agency, one of the most popular travel booking agency, which can be found in Europe. So what are the app? What are the things? What are the tabs that you can see here? Can you see hotel and stays? Can you see flights, flight booking, flight plus hotel?
Yes.
It's a combo. And if you visit that particular place, suppose if you just try to book a package, if you want to book a package to say any of the European countries which you like, and then if you go there, if you want to hire a local car or local transport logistic, so you can go there, you can have Eurostar, Deal Finder. So you have a lot of applications. If I click on hotel and stays, it is not only the one or two hotels. You'll get a list of hotels depending on your budget. It's just like your red bus and different travels or logistics which is available in India, because I could not find so many things on one single web page, so I just took this as an example here. So if I try to book an hotel and stays, it is not only one particular hotel, but there will be a list of hotels, right? Yes or no? There will be a list of hotels. If I want to book a
Yes.
flight, there will be a list of flights. There will be a list of different operators, right? If you want to book an Etihad, if you want to book a Air France, if you want to book British Airways, if Indian Airlines. So you have so many operators. You have so many airline industries. So can I say each industry or and each hotels will have their own databases, like say seat availability or the room availability or a suite availability, or and it is an executive suite, or an if it's a economy, if it's a business class. So can you see these differences? Different airline will have their own different databases, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now if I want to book a flight, say for example, so if I want to book a flight, say if I click on this flight and I want to book an some particular flight, some destination, will it be tagged to some of the financial institutions, say like as banking sectors, right? Because I need to book. If I need to book a particular flight, I want to make an transaction. So obviously, the same web page is attached to your banking web page also, or your banking database also to your account directly, right? See, just imagine. So the single web page is holding so many applications interface together, and on a single application, you are trying to access different databases of different places, and each databases of different places have been provided to the user, and this application interface has been created. You call this as APIs. Okay, now while transacting with the data, suppose if I am a travel agency, so I will be having a database in CSV file, like say, so how many rooms are there, how many have been occupied, how many free how many of them are vacant, and what is the budget, and all these things. I will have a small CSV file, or I might have an XML file, or I might have a JSON file. You understand? So now this has to be given to the API. Say, for example, if I am designing this website, so I should take the JSON file, I should take the XML file, and I should try to interact. If a person is trying to book a suite in a hotel, so what he will do, he will book, and that particular home or that particular room number, suite number will be fixed after paying an advance money, or after paying some amount of transaction has been done. So, and that will be updated. So just understand, the data has been updated. Earlier, the JSON data which was given, the room was vacant. Now a person has booked, the data is updated. Very similarly, the amount in the bank has to be deducted, right? The amount in the bank has to be detected, and everything is happening on the same APIs. If a person is trying to make more and more transactions, or more and more applications, using more and more applications, obviously it will be connected with more and more different types of data files and data structures. It may be of different notations like JSON, XML, CSV. So API will get all those things on a single format. Now just imagine you are trying to design a Python code, which if I click this, okay, if I click this hotels and stays, it should take me to Malta, Croatia, Bulgaria, and you can see the amount also. You can see different price amounts, and it should take it to the different web page. And again, that API should connect to bank, hotels, and JSON files, XML files of that relative the transactions or the business which is going to happen in near future. Okay. So this is the example which was meant to be for your APIs. Okay, so this is all about your parsing JSON, and then JSON is nothing but a JavaScript orient object notation and XML extensible markup language which holds the data in a different format. Okay, so just like HTML has got its own format in terms of tags and all, so very similar to the JSON and XML will be having its own structure of holding the data. And if you want to communicate with that data, you have to write a Python code which communicates with JSON and XML and HTML files, and try to update or receive or send, and to try to give some analysis or interpretation of the data. And you can do many things using your Python programming towards web services. So the first one was network programs, and the second one is using web services. Now also I have the last Google geocoding web services. Again, security and API usages, as I've explained. It's a very beautiful concept, Google geocoding web services. If you enter, say for example, SJBIT, Bangalore, you will get a latitude, a longitude, and the nearby places located with respect to Google geocoding programming. Okay, you just enter the place name, you'll get the latitude and the longitude. So that is an already established, or what you can say, like existing program, and I'm going to use this Google geocoding for web services and applications. So that we shall see, like it's a good amount of program. It's a pretty lengthy program, because you have a lot of structure to design. Just first you need to strike a particular website, and then strike an application. Then inside application you have so many places with latitude and longitude recorded, and you need to hit string comparison and get fetch back the latitude and longitude of that particular region. Okay, so it's a pretty interesting thing that you can see in the near future with respect to using web services in Python application programming. And lastly, I'll be using the local database in terms of SQL. So we shall just try to understand what is database, and what do you mean by a structured query language. And SQLite is one version of SQL database, and we should try to interact with the database. We'll try to create some table with rows and columns, some labels with some names. We'll try to increment the values looking at the names. So whatever the things that we have done so far, we shall just try to push it into the particular database in terms of rows and columns. So finally, we'll have a spider Twittering database, Twitter database, and Facebook databases as an use cases. And we just try to use SQL language or the knowledge okay, SQL knowledge in order to spidering is nothing but going inside or doing some analysis or trying to extract some information, some specific information. You call it as spidering. Okay, so we'll just try to look into the Twitter database and some basic data modeling techniques as used in data science. And there are some three kinds of keys: join, retrieve data from the SQL, creating multiple tables. So this is the complete the package. In fact, if I get an opportunity to frame my own syllabus, so obviously I should keep these as separate modules. Okay, third, fourth, and fifth, or whatever we have dealt so far can be compressed to 1 and 2 modules. So that would be a complete insight of this Python application programming to match with your industry standards. Okay, so this is a very important concept with respect to your future and with respect to your industrial requirements. So make sure whatever we deal here, it's a very minimum because they are kept very minimum syllabus for these concepts. But instead, it should be individual modules. Even then, it is only 5 or 10% of the requirement. Okay, so uh, the first thing is the network programs. So far, whatever we have pretended, now, now onwards, we shall start pretending as a web browser, one who is seeking some information content from the web page to retrieve some content from the web pages and using the HTTP. Like obviously, if you want to communicate with any device server or at any location to any of your local servers or local hard disk, hard drives, anywhere, you should follow some set of guidelines, standard protocols. So here we will use HTTP protocol, hypertext transfer protocol. So what do you mean by hypertext? Hypertext is nothing but which has been created using hypertext markup language, which navigates from one page to another page with some source content and information. Okay, so sockets. What do you mean by a socket? Socket is nothing but just like a plug-in, plug-out device. It's an interface between the user as well as the browser and the server, or where exactly the information is loaded or located. So sockets are used to retrieve data using socket programming in Python. So a socket is much like a file. Okay, it is just like defining where it is located. We can both read and write to the same socket. If you write to the socket, if you use write command to the socket, it is sent to the application at the other end of the socket. If you read, you are given the data which the application has sent. Okay, so read is nothing but you are trying to read the data which has been sent by the application. Write, it's nothing but you're going to write to the socket saying that I want this particular data from a server or from the other end. So what do you mean by a protocol? A protocol is a set of precise rules, and we shall see these things like how it will be used. Okay, we shall see this write to socket, read from the socket. Okay, socket programming. So as already told, it is just like do you have a sockets with respect to your illumination devices, intensity like lights and the other devices. So you have a plug-in socket which actually plugs the devices to the electricity component or the sockets, right? Very analogous to that. So here you will send a request and there you are going to receive the data or an information. So here socket connects two nodes on a network. It's a sender as well as the receiver. Okay, server forms the listener socket while client reach out to the server. So here server will be just like a listener socket and client will be a requesting socket. When if I am trying to request to the Google server sjbit.edu.in, so it will hit a particular socket number or a memory location, and then finally it's a listening socket, and then after listening it will respond. It will send an amount of data to your um, to your desktop or to your workstation, which is a response of your request. Okay, and that would be the client, the one who reaches out to the server. So socket programming, usually Python obviously will consider importing packages. Here also I'll be importing the socket library to make use of some crucial command syntaxes to create a socket programming. Okay, so I'll import socket here. If you could see, I will import a socket. Now S is equal to socket dot socket. See, understand, socket dot socket. inside socket method is just like a class, and inside socket you have another method called socket which takes two input arguments. Be careful, this is case sensitive. Again, I have socket dot af inet. Okay, af inet is nothing but address family. Here address family is IPv4. I guess you guys have already have some knowledge with respect to different protocols. Here it will be using IPv4 version, internet protocol IPv4 version, in order to communicate to the different socket devices. And what is this socket stream? I have socket.sock stream. Sock stream is nothing but it's a connection oriented TCP protocol which always acknowledges the complete transaction of the data frames with respect to the user and the server. So it ensures, so if I have a connection oriented TCP protocol with sock stream, so it ensures me that I have a promising data transfer from, there is no data loss. Okay, so it ensures me. So I am going to create a socket which has got IPv4 and a connection oriented TCP protocol. So it's just like an agent. If you have an agent, so obviously agent should be said. If you have a postman, postman should be said like, if it should come in uniform, you should come at 9:30, go to Jainagar, then go to JP Nagar, collect all the letters from the particular box. So there's some protocol, there is some part of what do you say, the version with respect to the agent, and there is some part of connection, the application to the agent, right? It should be delivered in a very it should be delivered fastly, it should be delivered precisely, right? So it is just like an agent, and you just try to create your own socket. So I've created a socket with IPv4 family, and of course with an application, agent application of TCP protocol, just in order to ensure my data packets has been sent and received, transferred very effectively. So I could ask you people to write a program that makes a connection to a web server and follows the rules of the HTTP protocol to request a document and display, and just record what the server has sent back to you. You're going to record what server has responded. Okay, so this might be a small question for you in future in your VTU question paper. So write a program that makes a connection, so that makes socket connection to a web server and follows the rules of HTTP protocol. So this is nothing but following the rules of HTTP protocol. And to request a document, see here, it can be a text document, or it can be an image document, or it can be a video document, any document, and display. Okay, so you're going to make use of print statements to display the content what has been revert back from the server. Yeah, so this is a simple program which is a solution to this. Guys, I'm audible?
Yes, sir.
Good. Hope all of you are listening.
Yes, sir.
Only one yes?
Sir.
2 yes?
Yes, sir.
Oh, good. Yeah, so nice of you. So now here, carefully observe. I'm going to import socket. I'll go just line by line, and I'm going to create my socket is equal to my sock is equal. This is my variable. This is an object. I should not call it as a variable from now onwards. It's an object. It's an instance. My sock is equal to sock.socket, socket.af underscore inet with respect to IPv4, and sock underscore stream. Obviously, I have to represent these things in capital letters, uppercase. That is how the methods are designed, case sensitive, uppercase. So now I would use, so now this is an object. See guys, this is an object, my sock. So whenever I say my sock, it's nothing but it's a socket with some responsibility with following some protocol IPv4 with TCP agent, right? So now if I say my sock.connect, using this socket, I'm going to connect to a bulb. I'm going to connect to another device. I'm going to connect to a geyser. I'm going to connect to a server now. What is that server? mysock.connect. I'm going to use this connect method. So this is again another method, mysock.connect. I'm going to give an exact location here. Since this textbook has given us an opportunity, the author has given us an opportunity to go through his website content. Okay, his web page content. So the web page URL is data.pr4.org, comma 80. What is this 80? 80 is a port on the server. So it is making a direct connection to the address port on the server with its URL. Is it okay, guys? I hope you got this.
Yes, sir.
So, okay, good. So now I'm going to make use of a command text. See, okay, fine. You have connected to the socket. It's just like you're connecting to a particular device now. So now what you want? So now I want a text called romeo.text using http:/1.0/rnrn. So what is this rn/rn? Have you come across this rnrn anytime? Guys, I want some answers. Guys, have you come across this /rnrn anytime?
We have come across N, sir, not R.
What is n? Okay, fine.
New line.
New line. Okay, what is rnrn? Okay, new line. So here, just imagine that you have a romeo.text. Can you see this? This is just a screenshot of data.pr4.org. Can you just try to identify romeo.text file here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think it's the last but one text file.
Yes, sir.
If I'm correct. Okay, good.
Yes.
So now, so now RN and RN, right? So there is a difference. So whenever you have a text message, okay, whenever you have a text message, it is read as a text message fine, but the contents inside the text message will be read with this programming. I repeat, the content of the text file. This is the content of the text file. One second, where is the content? Oh, it is not there. Okay, while executing, while demonstrating, I will show. So okay, yeah, here it is. Text content in the right side of your slide. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Here. Okay, but soft what light through yonder window break. So this is the romeo.text file. So now this text file will have some empty lines after grief. Can you see this grief? After grief, there are no lines.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now it's been made very clear. Boss, I am going to send a command which goes to romeo.text. See here, dot encode. See, it is going in an encoded form. See this entire string, get, from get till /n. From get till /n. Okay, this is a string dot encode. So this can be read as string dot encode. I can say string is equal to from get till /n, and I can use this commands. Command is equal to string dot encode. Why? Because I can send the commands in an encoded form. Either it can be a have you heard about BTL16, different kind of encryption or encoding techniques in your digital communication? I heard about this communication encoding systems. Different
Yes,
types
sir.
of encoding systems. Can you just say, because I'm not able to recollect it? Can you just give me some names of different types of encoding system? Like 6-bit encoding, 3-bit encoding. I used to call some names. We had some names, right? I forgot. Manchester encoding technique. Now I just remembering few things. Have you heard about this Manchester encoding technique? It's a 3-bit encoding with 1 0 and a level 1, level 0 and a DC level. I hope you remember DC Manchester encoding technique. Okay, fine. If you don't remember, just assume or just take it. In fact, it's going to send encrypted or an encoded string in a socket. So I will say mysock.send. I will use this send command. Okay, I will use this send method to send this command. What is this command? Command is an encoded bit string. I repeat, command is an encoded bit string which tells go to http dot so and so. Get is also a command here. Go to this, go to romeo.txt and send me the content till you find the blank spaces. This r/n/r/n, it represents the end of line or end of page or end of data content. Okay, so I'm going to request this particular web page to go here, to go to romeo.txt and then find http, follow http with this data and then in an encoded form. Okay, now since you have hit a particular server using my socket, so now we must send the get command followed by a blank line. So this is what I am expecting. So I'm going to receive a data followed by a blank line. Till then you will be receiving the data. Guys, can you see this while true? This is an infinite loop because I'll not be knowing how much amount of content is there inside that romeo.txt. So I will say data is equal to mysock.receive, RECV. Okay, RECV is another method. It is going to receive 512 characters as a packet or at a time. I repeat, it is going to receive 512 characters at a time. So now the received data, I'm just going to check the length of the data. If it is less than 1, you say the while loop is going to break. That means there is no more data to be received from a particular text file. And if this is true, okay, if this is true, it will break. Else print data dot decode. See guys, understand, data is what? The data which has been received. The data will be of 512 characters. Okay, so if it is more than 512 characters, it will be received at the second frame or it will be received as a second packet. So now I'm going to say print data dot decode and say end is equal to. So this is a syntax to print data dot decode and end is equal to empty string. End is equal to empty string. And since you have opened the socket here, my sock, you have to close it. See here, you have opened my sock send, my sock receive, and now you have to close that connection. You have to remove that socket. So now you're going to close it. So now, well, if I execute this program and now take the screenshot of this and try to execute it on your own as an assignment or an homework, a weekend assignment, and then you'll get this result. Okay, so now what is this result? Can you see this HTTP one? So this entire thing will be displayed as a result. It will give you all the information about that particular transaction with that socket. You can see this is an Apache and what particular date you have retrieved. So this is on what particular date it has been created, March 2010. This web page has been created. So you can see this 2010, and then and server Apache last modified Tuesday 29. So this database is last modified during this particular, and e tags and acceptor and range in bytes and content length is 167 because I had 167 characters including spaces, and the connection is closed. And what is the content type? It is text plain. If you retrieve image, it will be an image. If you retrieve video, it will be a video. So this is something which gives the information of the transaction, and this is the actual content of the text. Guys, I repeat, this is an information content. So usually this happens if you use my socket programming. You'll get all the information about your transaction, and this is the text content. Okay, Apache, Ubuntu, and all. So this is just an example. I have created a string. This is string example wow. I just created the string, and I've just said a string is equal to str.encode. It was just out of curiosity. I just wanted to see how the encoded bit string. So it has used base 64 strict. So this was an input which was given, and you could see the encoded string would appear like this. Can I say this? This is an encoded bit string for this string example. And if I decode string, if I say str.decode, I would revert it back. I would get the same string. So this encoded string is going to hit the server through socket programming, and it's going to revert. Again, it will be an encoded, and I'm going to decode it, right? So this is just an example how this dot encode and dot decode will work on a particular string. So this is all about retrieving a text file from a given web page or a server using socket programming. In the next class, we shall see how to retrieve an image using HTTP protocol. Okay, so this was about today's session. I hope you have learned some, gained some knowledge about what we are going to do in this particular. Uh, oh, sorry, this is module 5. Nobody noticed it. Okay, this is module 5. Okay, let me change it. Okay, good. So now this is what we are going to deal, and we have just completed hypertext transfer protocol. Using hypertext transfer protocol, we just try to retrieve the simple text content. Okay, and in future we'll be trying to retrieve an image, and we shall use URL lib and beautiful soup packages just to improvise. Okay, just to improvise so that these things can be eliminated. Yeah, this is a complex structure of programming, importing sockets and reading the data, creating the socket. This is very tedious job. So we can eliminate this job, okay, but just by importing URL lib. Okay, so those things we shall deal after trying to retrieve an image. We shall try to deal with different types of packages and try to minimize our effort in network programming. Okay, yeah. So that's all about today's class. I hope you have enjoyed the session and understood few concepts about network programs and what you're going to deal in coming future. Okay. Yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you for taking this session, and I hope you have taken that screenshot and try to. I'm not going to give or share any codes for this module. You just try to take the screenshot and try to build your own programs, and just see how it responds. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Take care.
Thank
Have
you,
a
sir.
great weekend. Yeah. Yeah, if you have any doubts, just let me know. It can be so because we had another 5 good minutes left. If you have any doubts, just let me know. You can also build a small